Hello, class 33. Hi, it's so good to finally meet you virtually. I'm Shay. I'm the one who you've been talking to. I have to apologize first off. I just got out of the shower. My hair is a little crazy. Um, but the purpose of this broadcast is to kind of just talk about moving forward, what needs to happen before you actually arrive in the United States. We'll talk about packing and the visa process and flights, and to kind of just answer any questions that you might have that weren't answered via email. Of course, if there's something that I don't go over in this, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that this is like a very big, scary process. There are a lot of moving parts. Things happen really quickly. So as we're nearing October, it's going to be a whirlwind of booking flights and making sure everything's prepared and getting all of your information. So on that note, let's see. I just want to make sure that this is actually working. Bear with me for a minute. Okay. Looks like it's good. There's no one on right now, so I'm just going to start talking until someone logs on and hopefully ask the question. If there is a question that you would like to ask, please chat it to me. I should be able to see it on my screen. But okay, so to start, I guess we should just walk through the visa process. Everyone is on different pages and different sections of working on their visas right now. A couple of you have already had your visa secured, which is really exciting. But the next step after you've made your visa appointment and you have your visa, as soon as you send the scanned copy to me, I reach out to our travel agent, Luis Hernandez, and Luis is really fantastic. He will look for itineraries for you and then forward them to both you and I for approval. We ask that you please respond within 24 hours so that we don't lose the ticket. So if you see something from Luis, please respond to it immediately. And then after your ticket is booked, we find you a airport greeter, and the airport greeter is either a volunteer or maybe a staff member who will come and greet you at the airport. They'll give you this wonderful bag full of all of these items that you'll need, including cash for the first couple of days before orientation. I think you'll mostly all arrive on either Saturday or Sunday. Orientation starts on Monday, so that gives you a day or two to recuperate. All of you will be in the same hostel, which is really exciting. I think there might be one or two people who go straight to Atlas Square housing, but you'll all be together, which is nice. So you'll have a day or two to recuperate. And then orientation starts Monday morning. It will be Monday through Thursday. And with orientation, it's essentially everything you need to know about living in the United States, about the fellowship, how to act at your host organization, the different nuances of the cities that you're going to. This is a pretty diversified class. So we do have a good amount of DC fellows, but we also have fellows in Chicago and Boston and all over New York and in California. So that's where I'm from. I'm a little biased, but I think it's a good state. So you'll get the flights. You will be greeted at the airport. A super shuttle is going to take you straight to the hostel, so you don't have to worry about any sort of transportation. We will give you a Metro card, and we'll also give you a SIM card so that you can start using your phone immediately, which I have found is really helpful with directions. So then we'll see you on Monday at orientation. A couple of things before you come. We need to make sure that you have all of your documents sent in. So make sure you get that medical clearance form and that doctor's form that just say essentially like you are a healthy person, you are ready to embark on a year abroad, which I know all of you are, but we just need it in writing. Also, our health insurance plan is good. It is fairly comprehensive, but health insurance is a huge, big, crazy issue in the United States, and the Atlas Core program falls in line with that. So while it is a useful health insurance plan, you are going to want to have everything that you need in terms of health and in terms of like pre-existing conditions or prior care to bring with you. So if you wear glasses like me, make sure you have your glasses, preferably 2 pairs. If you wear contacts, bring enough contacts for the entire year. If you're on birth control, make sure you bring enough of your birth control, specifically pills, for the entire year. Anything that you can do ahead of time that can happen in your home country and you don't have to go through our healthcare system is great. Please try to bring as many things with you as possible. So get me the doctor's notes. I'm pretty sure everybody has sent over their communications notes, so thank you for that. If you haven't, please send them to me today. That would be really good, so I can send them to our communications team and get all of that up on the website. Let's see. I guess we should talk about packing. Okay, this is really hard. And I feel like it's funny because fellows will either show up with like a million bags or they'll show up with one bag, and I'm always impressed with both. We will pay for 2 bags for travel to and from your home country, and also travel to and from your home city. So I know that the like weight differences are different on like international and domestic flights on how much your bag can weigh. Pack to the maximum of the international flights. We will pay the difference on the domestic flight for the satellite fellows. But we always say pack light. You're going to want to pack as diversified as possible because with the exception of California, for the most part, everyone is going to cities that have all of the seasons. So right now in DC, it is, let me tell you not in Fahrenheit because I know that's not very helpful to you, but in DC right now, okay, it's 5 degrees Celsius. It looks like it's only going to be a high of 16 degrees Celsius for the rest of the week, and it's supposed to be rainy. So cold and rainy is definitely in the forecast for the next couple of months. Boston, Chicago, DC, it's going to snow. We will give you $50 to buy a winter jacket, which you should be doing almost immediately after you arrive because it will be cold. So pack diversified. It gets really hot in the summers. It's really humid. I know that's the climate that most of you come from, so you'll be prepared for that. But it really is an entire range of weather, seasons. Bring, nice clothes. The dress code for your workplace is going to be different depending on where you work. Most places are business casual, so closed-toed shoes, slacks, dress pants, maybe a blouse or a blazer. A lot of women wear dresses with tights and like thick warm tights in the winter, which could be helpful. Also, you'll want to bring, your casual clothes, your jeans, clothes for hanging out. You will leave with more stuff than you came with. It's just how it always happens. People always want to bring stuff back for their friends and their families. So I know it's hard, but please pack light. And also bring things that you are maybe okay with leaving at the end of the year, since you'll acquire so much new and, new and exciting things. I just want to reiterate, especially for fellows who have never been in a cold climate before, and especially our Boston and Chicago fellows and parts of New York, it's going to be cold. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but when you step off the plane, wear all of the warmest clothes that you have, and we'll help you, but you're going to need scarves, hats, sweaters, mittens. Ooh, okay. Just gotten an email saying it's hard to connect to the website. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can figure this out. Sorry, guys. Okay. Now it won't just be me chatting to myself. Okay. Okay. Again, apologies. Sorry, I'm honestly not that great with technology. Okay. Okay, I just sent out the new link. Hopefully that works for people. Let's see, what else can we talk about? So there was a lot of stuff. Most of this has already been covered in the pre-arrival webinar. Go back and give that another look if you need to. I want to talk about our participation fee. I'm sorry, this is a little confusing. We've recently decided to not ask fellows for a $500 participation fee based off of fellow feedback. However, we do think it is crucial to bring $500 with you. You will end up needing it, whether it is to put a security deposit down on a house that you will get back at the end of the year's lease, whether it is for, personal travel, an unoccurred medical expense that you didn't think was going to happen. It's always good to have a safety net. We definitely encourage the $500. So please bring that with you. We'll put it in your own bank account right away. That is your money. Atlas Corp will not take it, but you will need it. Hi. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm very bad at this, as it turns out. I kind of just went over a bunch of stuff. I'll send you the link so everyone can rewatch it. I just went over flights and packing mostly. But if you would like to chat me your questions, I would love to answer any questions.
Sounds good.
So let's see. So basically, just to recap, I was saying that as soon as you get your visas, we'll be sending over your information to our travel agent, Luis Hernandez, who will then send both you and I an itinerary to approve. And if you could please confirm the itinerary within 24 hours so we can book the flight. And then after your flight has been booked, you will have someone greet you at the airport when you arrive, which is super exciting. They'll take you directly to the hostel or wherever you're staying, and they will give you some things for the weekend before orientation starts and directions and phone. And then Monday you will arrive at orientation, and at orientation we will just be going over life in the U.S., everything that you could need to know about your workplace, just kind of like all of the basics. It's really fun. Orientation is one of my favorite times of the year, especially because you get to meet each other, and then get to meet all of the staff, and you'll meet, I'm sure, most of them. And those who don't meet, you will meet again at the Global Leadership Lab in January, which is also incredibly fun. All of the fellows fly into DC for the week for this training. It's a really good time. So that'll be the best part. I had some questions that Vanessa had sent me. Let me pull them up and I can answer them. Okay. So Vanessa had asked if she can send a thank you email to her host organization in the days coming and to ask basic things. We definitely encourage you to connect with your host organization and to keep in touch, especially towards your arrival. So if you wanted, you can send them an email, you know, later next month saying, hi, I'm so excited to start. Just so you know, I will be arriving, you know, on November 25th. I will have orientation for the first week. The first at your host organization, I think, will be December 3rd. So definitely reach out and say that. However, we don't want you asking too many questions to the host organization, especially logistical questions, because those are the questions that you should be asking Atlas Corps, specifically me. We can help you, especially in terms of housing. Oftentimes it's hard because your host organization really wants to help you find housing. You know, it's a really stressful and kind of ambiguous issue to deal with from abroad. But we are the most equipped to help you with that. And also, I know most of you have signed up for America Homestay Network, which is a really great option. We just piloted it for the first time, which is exciting. So we have 2 fellows from class 32 who are doing America Homestay Network, and they really like it. It's been a good experience. It gives you enough time to look for permanent housing, which I think is important, instead of having to rush into a lease right away. It's only an option to our satellite fellows because it was too expensive in DC, and it wasn't worth, between having already a connection with a hostel that you can stay in and for housing, it just wasn't a viable option in DC. But we will talk about housing extensively on our first days here. We will sit down and help you look through Craigslist. We have connections all over the place, and especially in DC, it's such a transient city that people are constantly moving in and out. I found a house within a week when I first moved here. That seems to be the case for most people. It's really easy to find a lease. And it'll be helpful once you get here too, because you'll be able to go and actually look at these houses, and we have a good idea of how the city works, and so we can tell you which areas you want to be in, which areas you don't, which is close to work for you. So in a very long-winded answer, contact your host organization in a friendly manner, but please direct all your questions towards me. We don't want to concern them. We don't want to add anything extra to their plate. Okay. Vanessa also asked, in the house, should we organize to make general chores and cleaning in the shared common areas like the bathroom and the kitchen and other areas? I say definitely. It's going to be different for every house that you live in, but you will almost certainly have roommates, and it's important to set certain standards on a cleanliness level. So for example, in my house, it's me and one other woman, and we have a rule where if you don't have time to clean, you don't have time to cook. So dishes shouldn't sit in the sink for more than 1 full day. We also do a trade-off cleaning schedule. So I'll sweep 1 week, she'll sweep the next week. We kind of trade off on buying basic necessities like toilet paper, cleaning supplies, laundry detergent. And that seems to kind of be the best mutual understanding that we've come to. But I would definitely say set boundaries immediately and create a cleaning schedule, because that is something that, you know, you have to live in a house together. Okay, Vanessa also asked, if I stay in the Atlas Corps house in the first 6 months, but suddenly I find a better housing arrangement, can I notify the manager 30 days before the day I'm supposed to leave? Will I have to pay an extra fee or lose benefits? So in terms of Atlas Corps housing, you will sign a lease that I believe is for 2 months, and you are committed to staying for those first 2 months. After that, you are allowed to leave whenever. Most people don't. They seem to really like the Atlas Corps housing, I think, because it's the whole community living in these apartment buildings together. But of course, if you find something better, after your lease is over, you can go. In terms of other leases, most of you will sign either a 6-month or a 1-year lease. Those are a little bit harder to get out of. It's just a little less transient. So I would just say make sure you're making a choice that you feel comfortable with before you sign the lease, because oftentimes if you leave early, you end up foregoing your security deposit, which can be sometimes up to the first $1,000, the first month's rent. So pick a place, pick somewhere that you're comfortable with. It'll work out. Okay, this next question is about dress code. for orientation. So as you know, no jeans, no t-shirts. What about sandals? Since it's formal, should I only wear closed-toed shoes during orientation? Also, just in case, do we have a laundromat near us? So there won't be any laundry in the hostel that you're staying at, but there are laundromats all over DC that you could easily walk to if you needed to do laundry. In terms of clothing, business casual, slacks, button-down shirts, a dress with tights. You can wear open-toed shoes if they're nice. You're not going to want to, though. It is cold outside. You're definitely not going to want to walk around in that. And it's pretty cold in the office, too. So I would say no to sandals. I don't know. Does anyone else have any questions? Anything we want to talk about? I went over packing briefly in the beginning. My best advice is to pack light because you will definitely come home with more stuff than you anticipated. You'll also end up buying and trading clothes. I feel like there's always like a big fellow clothing trading group going on. So we will pay for 2 bags. Anything over that is something that you'll have to pay for by yourself, but 2 bags. And I know that international and domestic flights have different policies on baggage weight. We will pay for whatever the difference is. So pack for the international flight. And then if it costs more in the domestic flight, we'll pay the difference for you. Within your first week when you arrive, you will be getting a stipend. We'll go over this in more detail during orientation, but that includes a $50 jacket, like winter allowance for a new jacket. It includes, if you're in a satellite city, ground transportation, so $75 to get from the airport to wherever you're staying. Also for satellite fellows, it includes a relocation fee. So we give you, I believe it's $300. Just because we know that there are more expenses to occur since you will be moving further away. It will also include your part of the stipend for your first month, and a bunch of other random little tidbits. We'll go over that more. But just so you know, like as soon as you step off the plane, like we're giving you money and a card for your phone. So everything will be set with that. And I already went over this briefly before, but it's cold and it's going to be cold for a while. So I would suggest bringing the warmest clothes that you have. You will definitely probably end up buying stuff here. I mean, I know the fellows coming from Russia will be fine. It'll probably be much nicer, actually. You'll be walking around in sandals. But with the exception of California, it's going to be cold wherever you go, especially the fellows in Boston and Chicago and in some parts of New York. So, yeah. I don't know. Anyone else? It's hard. There's so many things to talk about. Most of this has been covered in the different webinars. This is just mostly me ranting for a half hour. But if you have any other questions, if we wanted to talk about like culture or life in the United States, I will say that the culture between cities and states are pretty different. I was born and raised in Southern California, and when I moved to DC, it felt like almost like culture shock, which was really interesting because I had grown up going to the East Coast, but they were such different cities. California is definitely very laid back. There's a like no bad vibes attitude. They're hard workers, and Northern California is different from Southern California, but you won't find people walking around in like a suit and a tie in California. Whereas in DC, it is people always walk like they have somewhere very important to be. It's a very different like motivational, professional vibe. Sometimes it's a little stressful, especially since we're so close to politics and so intertwined in politics. New York is a city all of its own. It's very hard to explain, but a very invigorating, very interesting place. The cool thing is that, especially for the fellows on the East Coast, you'll get a chance to go to all of these states since they're all so close. And I hope the East and the West Coast fellows get a chance to come do some exploring as well. But I will say they're all really great cities. I've been to all of them. They're a lot of fun. You're gonna have a great time. Yeah, I don't know. If no one has any questions, if we don't want to listen to me ramble anymore, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. There was a whole snafu with this, trying to do this yesterday and also today, apparently.
Hey Shreya, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Very well. How are you?
Good, thank you for
Uh, s-
asking.
Sorry, I joined a little late because I couldn't just access the correct link, but I definitely look forward to listening to the entire webinar again. I just have a quick question regarding can I contact my host organization just to get some reports and documents just to prepare myself a little better? Is that okay?
Yeah, I would say if everyone wants to send out an email just kind of saying like introducing yourself, I know you've already spoken to your supervisor, but say that you are very excited to be arriving in the US. If you want to put your arrival dates just so that they know, and then saying, are there any materials or documents that you would like me to review beforehand, or is there anything specific that you would like me to bring or to do? I think that's fine. And then any other questions you have about like logistics, direct them towards me. But I do think it's fine to reach out. We try not to reach out too much just because it's, there's a lot going on and there's a lot on your supervisor's plate already, but I think it's very thoughtful to ask if there's anything that they want you to know. And hopefully they'll be like, no, it's fine. But yeah. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Tatiana. If you recognize me, I don't know. I'm from Russia, and I wanted to ask just one question about this American Homestay program because
Yeah.
I know it's new, and I believe you're still figuring out the details. But you mentioned that it is supposed to be for 4 weeks. So I cannot move out earlier, right? Because the deposit has already been made by the applicant. Is that right?
Yeah. So America Homestay Network is actually, it's supposed to be a networking program for students, but we contacted them and tried to strike a deal because this was something that fellows have been having a problem with, was finding housing ahead of time. And we don't, most fellows will end up staying in a hostel, but we figured it would be better to have like, your own room, like a stable environment. I will reach out and ask. So far, it's been a month has seemed to be like the right amount of time. Are you thinking like 3 weeks? Are you thinking only 1 week? Like what are you thinking in terms of length?
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear.
Um, so I was thinking I might find something sooner than 4 weeks. I was thinking of maybe 2 weeks because I really don't know how it is in terms of living in New York. I've never been to New York before, but I think as far as well as soon as I get some information from like the host family on the boroughs and the best regions to rent a housing and maybe see a couple of rooms, I will be okay.
Yeah.
So does it have to be 4 weeks?
I will ask for you. If it's non-negotiable, I would still say Homestay Network is probably the best option. But if you're really confident that you are going to be able to find something, then Airbnb might be a good option as well. But we had for two fellows who had done it in this last class, they actually ended up staying a month and a half and 2 months.
Oh wow!
It took them a little, and they're in California. One of them is in California, which I know is more difficult. But they both ended up really liking it and wanted to stay around. So I'll ask. It's definitely an option. Of course, like I'd love for you to find your own housing as soon as possible. So we can ask, and if not, then maybe Airbnb would be a better option where you could just rent a room.
Okay. Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, team. Well, I'm super excited. Also, really interesting. This is our first class that we have We have 13 women and 3 men. So this is a Empower Women Globally class for sure. So it's going to be really fun, really exciting. I cannot wait to meet all of you. Please email, of course, if you have any other questions. I am always here to answer your emails. I'm sorry if it takes a day or two. But yeah, I'll be sending out a couple of more emails with more specifics too on regarding flights, a couple of reminder emails. If you haven't finished your communications form yet, or you haven't sent me your picture, please do that as soon as possible so I can give it to our communications team. And yeah, are there any last questions? Nope. All right, that's it.
Thank you so much. It was very informative. It's really good to connect with you and everybody else, and I really look forward to joining everyone soon.
It is going to be so exciting. Sorry that I just kind of blabbed for so long, but we'll see you soon, and I will be emailing you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.